We're on now. Good evening. Mayor Hallrick was planning on being here tonight, but unfortunately at the last minute, COVID and CDC guidelines and protocol got him, and so he's watching online to make sure I don't screw this thing up. I have a funny story. I'm long-term subbing here recently for business for a gal that's on maternity leave. And every day we have an attendance question. And one of them this week, and this is a true story, was, what would you like to be for a day? And you go around and ask the kids for attendance, what are you going to be for a day? And they go on and what do you want to do? Oh, I think I'd like to be the mayor of Mapleton for a day. So, here I am. So this afternoon, I made a proclamation making it Jeff Annis Day all day today. I got a text from John saying, we've got a key to the city for you. And then he said, oh, by the way, you've got to welcome the MC for Burns Night. I said, okay, well, that'd be fine. If I get a key for the city, that's cool. That's fine. So, anyway, from John, he wanted to know, by the way, if you're watching a recorded version, feel free to skip about the first 4 minutes to avoid listening to Jeff. If you're here to watch the crowning of Miss Bonnie Lass, you can skip to the 3-hour and 47-minute mark. Actually, when John emailed this to me, I tried to download it, and it said, your disk space isn't large enough. I go, oh my goodness. So I finally got it downloaded. 76 pages John had for this welcome. So I've toned it down to about 13 cards. So welcome to the 146th Annual Burns Night Celebration. We're grateful this year for the committees that have put it together, and thank you for coming. Again, we're live, and we are online. So if you want to watch it a second time, you can go home tonight and rewatch it. Just go to YouTube and look up Burns Night 2022, and you'll find it. So thanks to all the individuals who have been involved in coordinating this event so Mapleton can continue to celebrate its rich tradition. It's because of those individuals that Mapleton was able to hold the oldest continuing celebration in Minnesota, even during a worldwide pandemic. Tonight, we're going to crown the 57th Miss Bonnie Lass. And good luck to those contestants, Matea, Leah, Alexandra, and Piper. You are becoming a part of a very special tradition at Mapleton. And part of that tradition is also the wonderful sound of bagpipes. And everyone knows the difference between bagpipes and a snowblower, right? You can tune the snowblower. And I want to thank the Maple River Burns Club. Again, they put a lot of time and effort into this, and allowing me to say a few words for John. And he is sorry that he couldn't be here. This weekend is a great time for remembering the great Scottish heritage that makes up so much of Mapleton's ancestry. What an accomplishment to keep this celebration alive. The Maple River Burns Club members, past and present, have my gratitude for keeping the tradition alive in Mapleton. Tonight, we honor the Scottish poet Robert Burns. So tonight, we're going to be celebrating with Scottish poetry, music, dancing, curling, bagpipes, and bravery, which reminded John of a story that he wrote. It goes like this. Scott, Patty, and John were on a trip in Saudi Arabia while driving his little red car, which had seen its better days. John and Patty were in the back. They had been drinking too much and were under the influence. And suddenly ahead of them, they see an oil well on fire. And the firefighters are unsuccessfully trying to extinguish the flames. And Scott, he drove right over to the well, blocking the oxygen and putting out the fire, with John and Patty in the back, just laughing away. And the oil company, they were so grateful. They rewarded them with $100,000 each. And the reporter came to interview the three, and he asked John, how are you so brave? Well, he proudly says, I'm English. And what are you going to do with that $100,000 reward? He says, I'm going to buy me a huge boat. And the next reporter goes to Patty. how are you so brave? And he goes, I'm Irish. He says, what are you going to do with that? $100,000. I'm going to buy me a pub. And finally the reporter goes to Scott. You, the driver, the bravest of them all. How did you have so much courage? And Scott replies, I'm Scottish. And he asks, what are you going to buy with your $100,000? And Scott thinks for a while. He goes, I think I'm going to buy some new brakes for my little red car. Now that's a John Ulrich joke. So once again, we are blessed to have a veteran MC to keep this Burns celebration going live. John Stevens is joining us for the 16th time as MC of Burns Night. John is a 1980 graduate of Mapleton High School and a Mankato State graduate in degrees of history and business finance. Growing up, the Scottish heritage played an important role in his life as he and his sister Joy played the Scottish drums and his brother Jay played bagpipes. And if you saw in the Free Press, I guess Jay was an MC one year. You got to look at the Free Press for that. How many saw the Free Press article? Well, that's why you wouldn't get that joke. That's all right. Move on. John is married to Chris, and they have 2 grown children, Andrew and David. He is currently the senior managing director of Nuveen. And again, thank you, John, for agreeing to be the MC tonight. Let's give a warm welcome for the 2022 Burns Night Master Ceremonies, John Stevens. John?
I didn't test my mic, so we're going to do a little bit mic test. Everybody can hear me. Sounds good. And we're going live stream here. So last year we were out for about 10 minutes, so I think we're good. Oh my God, there's an audience. Thank you. And welcome, as Jeff said, to the 146th Burns celebration here in beautiful Mapleton. And you're lucky because I've only been MC for like 52 of them. So, come on. Come along with me. Unfortunately, I'm going to move this mic a little bit, right? Does that help? Ooh. Anyway, last year at this time when we went all virtual, we were all hoping, this virus would be behind us by this date. But you know what? It's not. And we're carrying on. My dear mother down in Arizona said, what are you going to do? And I said, it's been 2 years, Mom. We'll just figure it out. So for those of you who are attending, thank you so much. It's great to have an audience. Maybe my jokes will even be a little funnier this year because you guys are going to laugh at my jokes. For all of you online, thanks for joining us. I know across the country, people who are not in town, who didn't want to drive in the snow today, or for whatever reason can't join us, thank you. And I hope when you're at home watching this, go ahead, sing along with us, clap for the dancers, and definitely laugh at my jokes. I'm standing here, and Jeff is going to talk a little bit more about this being the last year at this stage and in this gymnasium. It's been over 80 performances of Burns Night in this hall, and I'm very honored to be emceeing the final one here. For the young people here, do not realize this was our basketball court. This is where we played varsity basketball. So when I was a child, this stage ends right here, and the basketball court came all the way out here. There was a balcony. Everybody remembers the balcony that I don't know why it didn't fall down. And then we were just on top of the players. It was some of those years just fantastic to be in this building and just have it excitement for a small town when the team was really good. And for all the Burns nights where it would be packed. I remember sitting up in the balcony some years, it was so hot, just sweating. It was just, just the number of people, and some of those programs went really long. So we had special guests some years, and I know that we pushed 2.5, 3 hours which is a long time if it starts at 8 and you've been maybe celebrating a little bit ahead of time. So, but a lot of fond memories. I am looking forward to next year in the new auditorium. I'm sure it's going to be very exciting and beautiful, and I'm looking forward to that, assuming I'm back. So what are we here for? We're here to celebrate Robert Burns, of course, but more importantly, we're here to celebrate our community, celebrate each other, and just the great tradition that we've built here. So on with the show. I like to start off with telling some stories about my family. I think sometimes what happens in real life is as funny as anything that you can find written. The first one is about my brother-in-law. He is a fantastic person. He's not real tall, and he is pretty big. And I'm not picking on him because he calls himself Fat Boy. Okay, that is true. You can ask my wife. Fat Boy. You get to his cabin, Fat Boy Lane, right there. Anyway, about every 5 years, Randy decides he needs to lose some weight. So he goes on a diet. And I just saw him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "How's your diet going?" He goes, "Well, it's going pretty good. You know, like last night I had a salad. Well, really it was more like croutons and tomatoes." Well, actually it was like one big crouton and some tomato sauce and some cheese, and all right, it was a pizza. It was a pizza. But I said, that's Randy. So this is a story about my oldest son, who's already, 31 years old, but he was a precocious little guy, and I don't know, he was maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, something like that. And we were up at the cabin, having fun, and there were mosquitoes like you can't believe, just swarming all over you. And it had been a pretty long night, and then it got darker. You know what happens then? The mosquitoes really come in. And it was getting darker, and he was getting pretty frustrated. And then all of a sudden, the fireflies came out. And he sat there and he goes, "What the heck? Now these darn mosquitoes have flashlights?" It wouldn't be right if I didn't tell a story about my youngest son, David. When he was like 3, and my wife, Chris, was teaching him, she just had it like, "I think you should learn the Lord's Prayer," when we went to bed every night. And so she'd say a line, and he'd repeat, "About the Lord, my Father," and then he'd repeat back and forth. So finally, after a few nights, maybe a couple weeks actually, she goes, "I think you can do it on your own." And so David, he's just plowing through, doing a great job. And he gets near the end, he goes, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us some email. Amen." Very cute when you hear a 3-year-old do that. And finally, as I said, my mom, Vanny, lives in Arizona in the wintertime, and we go down to visit pretty much every year. And and then when you're down there, come on to the celebration, and she's got to show the kids off to all her friends at the gathering. And so you meet all these people you're never going to probably meet again. And I met this one old guy, and this is actually classic Arizona kind of conversation. And this guy's going, "Oh, geez, it's really tough. I've had my hip replaced. Actually, I had both my knees replaced. I had bypass surgery twice. I have diabetes. I have gout. I have terrible circulation. I can hardly feel my hands, hardly feel my feet. In fact, my memory is a little shaky. I don't even remember if I'm 85 or 92, but I still got my driver's license." Oh, that's why they should just drive the golf courts. So let's talk a little bit about Robert Burns. So for some of you, this will be maybe old hat. Maybe for some of you, you don't know a lot about Robert Burns. But let me tell you a little bit.
And I'm going to assume that maybe you know his poetry, but let's talk about the Burns Club a little bit. So there's Burns Clubs scattered around the globe. So we're not unique. There's hundreds and hundreds of Burns Clubs around the world. But the very first one was known as the Mothers Club. It was founded in Greenock in 1801. And the Mothers Club held the very first Burns supper on what they thought was his birthday, which is January 29th, 1802, only to discover his birthday is actually January 25th, 1759. So then they got it moved to the right date the next year. Now, Robert, despite leading a busy life and accomplishing so much as a poet, he died at the tender age of 37 from rheumatic fever. He was also known somewhat as a ladies' man. Well, he fathered 12 children from 4 different women, and his last child, Maxwell, was born on the same day as his funeral, July 25th, 1796. As a lad growing up in Ayrshire, Scotland, Burns was always fond of supernatural stories, most of which were told to him by an old widow who helped out on his father's farm. These stories no doubt had an influence on his writings in the future. But of course, Burns didn't want to always stay in Scotland. He hoped to move to the Caribbean island of Jamaica. Although, following the success of his poetry collections, poems, chiefly in the Scottish dialect, he opted to move closer to home, settling in Edinburgh. Robert Burns' poetry is said to have inspired some famous American writers, specifically John Steinbeck's 1937 novel Of Mice and Men, which was inspired by a line in the Burns poem, To a Mouse. The global success of works has stood the test of times, but it comes as a surprise that when Robert Burns died, he was a very poor man and thought that maybe he only had 1 pound to the name when he passed away. So that's a little bit on Robert Burns, but we are going to say a couple of poems here, and I'm going to start with To a Louse. So I thought I for sure knew what a louse was, because he also has a poem called To a Mouse, but this is To a Louse. Does anybody know what a louse is? It's lice. So this is a poem about a lice or a louse that is crawling around on a young lady's bonnet in church. All right? So some of these lines might turn your stomach a little bit. Hey, where are you going, you crawling hairfly? Your imprudence protects you barely. I can only say that you swagger rarely over gaze and lace. Through faith, I fear you dine, but sparely in such a place. You ugly, creeping, blasted wonder, detested, shunned by both saint and sinner. How dare you set your feet upon her, so fine of a lady? Go somewhere else and seek your dinner on some poor body. Off! Around some beggar's temple shamble, there you may creep and sprawl and scramble, with other kindred jumping cattle, in shoals and nations, where horn not born never dare unsettle your thick plantations. Now hold you there, you're out of sight, below the fondrels snug and tight. No faith just yet, you'll not be right till you've got it. And very topmost towering height of Mrs. Bonnet. My word, right bold you root contrary, as plump and gray as any gooseberry. Oh, for some rank mercurial resin or dread red poison, I'd give you such a hearty dose, flea, it'd dress your noggin. I wouldn't be surprised to spy you went on some housewife's flannel tie, or maybe on some ragged boy's pale undervest. But Mrs. Finest Bonnet, fie, how dare you jest? Oh, Jenny, do not toss your head and lash your lovely braids abroad. You hardly know what cursed speed this creature's making. Those winks and featherlands I dread are notice taking. Oh, would some power with vision teach us to see ourselves as others see us. It would from many a blunder free us, and foolish notions. What errors in dress and carriage would leave us, and even devotion. Robert Burns. You can clap for Robert. And before we get to the rest of the show, just in preparation, because I was going to do this at the end, but timing, I don't know if it'll work, but again, looking for a show of hands, when we sing Auld Lang Syne at the end, does everybody have a good feeling what that means, Auld Lang Syne? Do people kind of know? Kind of not know? All right, well, I'm going to tell you. The words mean something like times gone by, or times long since past, like times long since past that we shared together and now remember fondly. So I think it'll be very fitting when we were singing Auld Lang Syne, since we couldn't do it last year all together. So I thought you might enjoy that. On to the dancing. The first dance is the Potty Boz. So Potty Boz is the first dance learned by the young dancers. And it's like a halfway step between, it's the first piece of the Highland Fling. First step of the sword dance. And like I said, the first dance most young dancers learn. And tonight, the Potty Boz, and I saw them backstage beforehand, they are, I'm serious, very serious. They're like this, 20 minutes ago. I'm not joking. It's staring right at me. It was very scary. So here we go. Emerson Stock and Sarah Davis, Potty Boz. Full disclosure, you guys were a little bit worried on the first song they didn't walk off. That's because they were also doing high cuts. And I wasn't informed they were doing both Potty Boz and high cuts until I was backstage, so I let you know. So they did two slightly different dances. So I thought they did fabulous. I don't know what about you guys, but when you get married, I can still remember when I got married. And I had kind of a weird uncle who wanted to give me some marriage advice, very scary. But I wrote them down just to remember them later. I have them written here. And first one, he said, when you have a discussion with your wife, always remember to get in the last 2 words. Yes, dear. Thank you, right? You like that one, don't you? And by the way, the best way to remember your wife's birthday is to forget it once. Come on. That was kind of funny. All right, let's jump to the Highland Fling. And the Highland Fling was performed many times upon the shields of the warriors in victory. And so the shield is maybe, 2 meters round, and there would be a spike in the middle of it. So as you watch the dancers dance the Highland Fling a couple of times tonight, you can watch they stay in a pretty close circle, maybe, perhaps, dancing on a shield. And the first Highland Fling tonight will be the 4-step, and we have a couple of young ladies who could not make it tonight. So we have a substitute dancer. Ami Yeager is going to dance along with Caitlin Harmon. Highland Fling 4-step. Very, very nice job. And now, our first opportunity to see our 4 Miss Bonnie Lass candidates. So they're going to come on stage and quickly introduce themselves. So, candidates, the stage is yours. Are you coming? Why do I see some queens over? Oh, I see. Very serious here.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Matea Bear, daughter of Leslie and Brad Bear. Good evening. My name is Alexandra Nelson, daughter of Rob and Lori Nelson. Good evening. My name is Piper Queen, daughter of Adam and Casey Queen. Hello, I'm Leah Hipper, the daughter of Troy and Missy Hipper.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. And we will see them actually a couple of times yet tonight, because they are all 4 Scottish dancers, and I believe they are all performing later in the show. So big night for all of them. So are you guys feeling the energy of these stories I'm telling you? And you're like, is it building? It's building, because these next 2 are whoppers. They're whoppers, because I get accused of having bad dad jokes. So here we go. There were a couple of cannibals eating a clown. And the one cannibal looks to the other and says, "Does this taste funny to you?" Ho, 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 ho. I think that's pretty good. And you know what you get when you play a country song backwards on the record player? You get your job back, your house back, your wife back, and your pickup back. Try it sometime. All right, next dance. They're Dusty Millering back there. So this is a national dance of Scotland. And the Dusty Miller tonight will be performed by Becca Feldman, Anna Davis, Evelyn Langworthy, Adeline Beck, and Hope Schwitzenberg. The Dusty Miller. All right. Well, we are going to bring down the big screen a number of times tonight. One of the changes that we made last year in the all virtual Burns program turned out to be, I think, really well received by the audience. And so I think the committee decided to continue this tradition. So they're going back 10 years from 2022 and having the former Miss Bonnie Lass from 10 years ago, 20 years, you get the idea. And they're going to do a little talk for us. So we're going to start off with two queens, past queen from 2012, Dana Renke, and past queen from 2002, Joey Van Rossum Roberts. So let's watch.
Hey everyone, my name is Dana. I'm your 2012 Miss Bonnie Lass. Brief life update for me. After I got out of the military, I moved back to the Mankato area with my son Isaac, who is 7 now. I got my bachelor's degree in law enforcement in 2018 and a minor in political science. I go to MSU again for my master's in social work. Working towards that, so hopefully that'll be done eventually. As far as my memories go from being Miss Bonnie Lass in 2012, my absolute favorite moment by far was getting crowned. Nothing will ever top that. But I loved going to all the parades and meeting all the new people and seeing everybody else that had been crowned queen of their town that year. And the candidates, thank you so much for participating in this. It's a wonderful tradition that I adore and love. I have many family members that have been through it, so it's very nice to see that people continue to do it. Be yourself. That's the most important thing. That's what everybody wants to see. Everything that happens is going to happen. You can't control it, so just relax. And thank you to everyone who came out and continues to support Miss Bonnie Lass and Burns Night. It's very much appreciated, and yeah, thank you. Bye.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic Burns Night. My name is Joey Roberts, formerly Joey Van Rossum. I was Miss Bonnie Lass in 2002, which is crazy to think that it's been 20 years. So what have I been up to since then? After graduating from Maple River, I furthered my education at Winona State University. I majored in therapeutic recreation there, and I met my future husband, JD. After graduating from there in 2007, we moved to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I started my career as a therapeutic recreation specialist at a long-term care facility here. I've been employed there for the past 15 years. 8 of those last years, I have been the rec therapy director at Onalaska Care Center. My husband and I were married in 2008. We added our first daughter, Riley, in 2010 and Regan in 2014. I just want to take this time to wish good luck to all the Miss Bonnie Lass candidates. Enjoy your time, enjoy your year. It'll go very fast. You will have so many great memories, as I did. One that I remember sticks out most vividly is Town and Country Days that year. Myself and 2 other girls on the court, Melissa Holt and Jonna Shimmick, were employed at Dietz Foods at the time, and the parade marshal that year was Lana Dietz. So it was such a pleasure to be able to spend the day with her and escort her around to all the events that day. It was a really good time. So I just want you all to know that the year will go by fast, so cherish everything, and good luck to you all. Happy Burns Night.
All right, that was fun. So while we raise up the screen and get ready for the first sword dance of the night, I want to tell you the story about this poor robber. So he sneaks into this house. He thinks he's all alone, and he hears this voice. The voice kind of says, "Jesus is watching you." Like, very strange, and he hears again, "Jesus is watching you." So he like searches the house, and lo and behold, in the corner, it's a talking parrot. And he goes up to this parrot and he goes, "Were you the one talking to me about Jesus watching me?" The parrot goes, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, at least I'm alone." He goes, "So what's your name, parrot?" "Clarence." And he goes, "Clarence? That's a pretty silly name for a parrot. Who the heck named you Clarence?" "The same guy who named the pit bull Jesus." "Jesus is watching you. Come on, come along, come on." Yeah, we'll get a little energy here. Here we go. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to the cannibal joke because that was pretty straightforward. You know, that was funny. Sword dance. Always a couple of different histories on sword dances, but you know, probably one of the most interesting ways to watch a sword dance is they would dance it, they take their swords down, cross it before a battle, and if they were able to complete the battle or the dance without touching or moving the swords, they would have good luck in battle. So we'll put a little extra pressure on all the young ladies who are going to do the sword dances tonight. Make sure nobody touches anything. Snowy outside, you got to drive home, you know. Let's hope it goes well for them. So the first one is the broadsword, and that is going to be tonight Olivia Sellers, Kira Springer, Auden Yeager, and Allie Boning doing the broadsword dance. Wow, I think that was perfect, right? Another round of applause. I think they're in good luck. Way to go. So this husband and wife were having dinner, and the wife looks lovingly at her husband, and she goes, "Honey, how would you describe me?" And the husband goes, "Well, I'd probably say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K." And she goes, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, adorable, beautiful, cute, delightful, elegant, fashionable, gorgeous, and hot." And she said, "Well, thank you. But what about the IJK?" And he goes, "I'm just kidding." Really strong marriage there, I guess. All right, we're back to the Highland Fling. And this time the 6 steps, so it's a little longer version of the Highland Fling. Also interesting about the Highland Fling, the Scottish regiments actually use this for training purposes, for exercise to keep the troops in shape. I'm not joking about that. This is true. So during a full 6-step Highland Fling, a dancer can jump vertically over at least 192 times. So pretty good workout. So if you want to go home tonight, or you guys at home, go ahead, dance with the young ladies here and see how you feel at the end of this 6 steps. It's a long, long dance, and I think you'll have a pretty good workout. So tonight, doing the 6th step will be Hallie Hines, Emma Lux, and Merritt Ward, the Highland Fling 6 step. So how many of you guys were counting there? Counting the jumps, the steps? There were a lot. I lost track around 50, 60, but I'm sure there were 192 because that's what it said on my card. 192. Read this story, this Scottish couple and their son took a little trip. So Malcolm and Jean were invited to see their well-to-do Uncle Duncan, and they brought their little son Angus along, and they were at Uncle Duncan's place for a while, and finally little Angus got up the nerve to approach his old uncle, and he looked and he goes, "Yeah," and Duncan goes, "What do you want, Angus?" And he goes, Can you make a sound like a frog, Uncle Duncan?" And Duncan says, "Well, why do you want me to make a sound like a frog?" And Angus said, "Well, on our drive over here, Daddy said, we're going to be rich when you croak. The rest of the dinner was a little touchy. You know, it's a joke. I bet that really happened someplace, you know. Okay, we're having another sword dance coming up next. And there's we talked about sword dancing before a battle. There's all kinds of legends. There's another legend in 1054. And that's when Malcolm Camor danced over a crossed sword in triumph over a big battle. So maybe it's before a battle. Maybe it's in triumph after. Less pressure on the young ladies here because they've already won. So we'll go with that one on this one, the sword dance. And we do have only 2 dancers on this one tonight, Tabitha Barkowski and Grace Sorey. You can dance. Clap. Here we go. Young ladies with a big sword walking right at me, way around. I was prepping for this evening, and I was talking to my wife, Chris, and she reminded me of the story I'd forgotten about from a long time ago when our boys were young. They're about 3 years apart, and so I think Andrew was around 6 and David was around 3, and we were going someplace, and Andrew, of course, the oldest, he's like jumping in the back. I'm going to sit in the left seat. I'm going to sit in the left seat. And David, the youngest son, this has never happened in your family. I want to sit in the left seat. I want to sit in the left seat. And so now they're just back and forth. And I'd had it, and I just looked at him. I said, okay, David, you're the youngest. You can have the left seat this time. And Andrew, you can have the left seat when we come back home. And so they kind of grumped. And then we start getting in the car, and David looks at him. He goes, which one's the left one? Yeah, thanks. The next dance is actually one of my favorite dances. This is Sailor's Hornpipe. And so this is also a great dance for you to watch and try to identify all the things that these dancers are doing. So they are depicting sailors out at sea, so working in the Navy, and you're going to see them hauling rope, sliding around the deck, getting their paycheck. See how many things you can recognize in this dance, Sailor's Hornpipe. Tonight will be danced by 4 dancers, Alexandra Nelson, Matea Bear, Leah Hipper, and Piper Queen. I think I think we're going to see them later tonight. Let's see the Sailor's Hornpipe. You can clap when they come on. I don't think they look nervous at all. I mean, there's nothing else going on tonight for them, right? You know, change clothes, do the dance, and now you gotta wait. Yeah, you gotta wait. So, the Will tradition, Wills have sung forever at this program. And through a whole host of reasons, they are gonna sing again tonight, but we're gonna have them on video, much like last year. And I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. And of course, the accompanist is Joanne Yeager. Joanne, raise your hand. Joanne's also a Will. She's 91 years young. Fabulous. Come on. Is that incredible? So we'll turn it over to the video of the Wills doing Scottish songs.
Oh, sing to me the old Scots songs. I break the Scottish tongue. The songs my father loved to hear. The songs my mother sung when she sat beside my cradle, crooned me on her knee, and I would not sleep. She sang so sweet the old Scots songs to me, and I would not sleep. She sang so sweet the old Scots songs to me. I have heard the maple singing his love song to the morn. I have seen the dewdrops clinging to the rose just newly born. But a sweeter song will suit me in the evening's gentle rose. And I've seen the night still brighter than the dewdrops on the rose. Was thy voice my gentle Mary, and thine artless winning smile that has made this world an Eden? Bonnie Mary, love on the bonny banks of Clyde, roaming in the gloaming with a laddie by my side. When the sun has gone to rest, that's the time we all love best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. I'm going to marry Eddie, sweet little Caddy Eddie, on the 5th or 25th of January. Won't we canoodle-oodle right, Father doodle-oodle, on the 5th or 25th of January. Oh, I've never been so deep in love as what I am right now. I haven't slept for weeks and weeks, I don't know what to do. It's Caddy Mackintosh, the bonny laddie I adore. I've never been so lonely over any lad before. I'm going to marry Eddie, sweet little Caddy Eddie, on the 5th or 25th of January. Won't we canoodle-oodle right, Father doodle-oodle, on the 5th or 25th of January. Oh. If a body meets a body coming through the rye, if a body kiss a body, need nobody cry. Every lassie has a laddie, none they say have I, but all the lads they smile on me when coming through the rye. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow, and I will sleep in peace until you come again. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. I've just come here the night to ask you for your sympathy. The only lad I've ever had for me has gone away. It happened over a quarrel that we had last Sunday night. Well, he said I was in the wrong, but I said I was right. My heart is nearly broken. Sometimes I think I'll choke when I think about the promises he made. He told me once sincerely that he loved me oh so dearly. so I've written him a letter and I said, come back, Danny, to your simple Annie. Danny, did I say you leave me new? Come back, Danny, didn't I say you canna? 'Cause I never loved another lad but you. I love a laddie, a bonny, bonny laddie. He's as sweet as the lilies in the vale. He's as sweet as a heather, me bonny bloomin' heather. Grandpa, my Scotch bluebell.
All right, this is the time of the program I get to fill in for our dearly friend Jack Will and do a couple of songs that I think some of you will enjoy. And Joanne and I did not get to practice, so we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. So are you ready? We're gonna do Mackay first. I got the theme. Okay. I've just been blowing Mac away. He's the best of. See, this is what you get. We don't practice. This is hard. This is really hard. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. I know. Can we start again, though? I would like to start from the beginning. I've just been blown. I don't want to sing it that high. Can I? I've just been blowing Mac away. He's the best I've ever seen. I mean, Mackay, he's the first mate on the steamship ferry. You know what? Do you mind? Can I sing an a cappella? I mean, you guys are so nice to me. Thank you Thank you, Joanne. I've just been blowing Mac away. He's the best I've ever seen. I mean, Mackay, he's the first mate on the steamship Fairy Queen. He sails the world. He goes around 3 times a year. And every time his ship comes in, I'm standing on this pier. 'Cause I like Mackay and Mackay likes me. I treat Mackay and then Mackay he treats me. I like Mackay 'cause Mackay's true blue. It's only when Mackay comes home that I have 1 or 2. 'Cause I like Mackay and Mackay he likes me. I treat Mackay and then Mackay he treats me. I like Mackay 'cause Mackay's true blue. And it's only when Mackay comes home that I have 1 or 2. A lot of people say the kilt is not the thing to wear. In fact, they say the kilt is out of date. But I've got certain reasons why I'm wearing mine, and so I'll tell you if you only care to wait. I used to wear a pair of breeches before I met my wife. But after we've been wed a week or 3, I sold my trousers, bought this kilt. The reason was because I'll tell you if you listen out to me. 'Cause every night I used to hang me trousers up on the butt of the bedroom door. I rue the day I must have been a jay. I don't hang 'em up anymore. 'Cause every night my wife, she rambles through me pooches while I was fast asleep beneath me quilt. And in the morning when I woke, I was always stony broke. And that's the reason why I wear the kilt. I never would have found her out, but one night I come home, I was feeling itty queer about me head. But soon I was fast asleep, but then I wake at 3. I see her there a-standing up in bed. She said, "Whoosh, be quiet. There was burglars in the house. I'm rambling through your pooches for a gun." I don't know if she was or not, but all I know is this: there was nothing in those pooches when she's done. 'Cause every night I used to hang my trousers up on the back of the bedroom door. I rue the day I must have been a jay. I don't hang 'em up anymore. 'Cause every night my wife, she rambles through my pooches while I was fast asleep beneath me quilt. And in the morning when I woke, I was always stony broke. And that's the reason why I wear the kilt. We got there. All right, thank you for indulging me. Thank you so much. We have another sword dance, the Jacobite sword dance. And tonight that is going to be danced by 2 young ladies, Auden Yeager and Ellie Broughton, the Jacobite sword dance. Give them a round. Thank you. Thank you. I have a little analogy I think all of you can identify with. Love. Love is like wetting your pants. Everyone can see it, but only you can feel the warmth. I think that's another reason to wear the kilt. I like that laugh. Thank you. The next dance up here is the Satsbury and Reel, and that's really comes from the Satsbury region in Scotland. And it has been hypothesized that the Satsbury mimics the rhythms of the Scottish Gaelic language. I think this is a beautiful dance. I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. And tonight it will be danced by Shaylee Bear, Caitlin Schwitzenberg, Maya Garbus, and Eva Stencil. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed that. We're on to the next two former queens in your program on video. So from 1992, Danielle Bailey Granger, followed up by Karen Trio Stewart, Miss Bonnie Lass in 1982. A little bit more my speed of things, 1982. So we'll turn it over to the video.
Hello, my name's Danielle Granger. I'm Miss Bonnie Lass, 1992. It's hard to believe that 30 years have gone by already. Today, I am married to a wonderful husband, Jim. We have one daughter who just turned 16, McKenna, and two dogs, Jake and Tally. I currently work at a company in Shakopee where I am an IT business analyst and a project manager. A couple of my favorite memories from being Miss Bonnie Lass. Probably the most painful memory was when I was in the Bend of the River Days parade and the wind was whipping so hard that by the end of it my hair was so knotted in my crown that it took an hour to untangle it. And eventually I just ended up cutting some off. Probably the moment that I'm most proud of from being Miss Bonnie Lass is when I got a hold of one of the first curling stones that was used out on the Maple River. And I gave a talk at the curling club about the stone, about some of the history of curling, how they used to use the river for curling, and just general conversation surrounding that. And I was able to get the stone from an individual who owned it and be able to show that around to everyone in the curling club. Probably the most memorable was seeing how happy my grandfather was when I was crowned Miss Bonnie Lass. So those are a few of my memories, and I just want to say good luck, congratulations to the girls who are going out for Miss Bonnie Lass, and to the individual who wins. You're going to love it. It's a great time, and have a happy Burns night. Thank you, Mapleton.
Good evening and welcome to the 2022 Maple River Burns Night. My name is Karen Trio Stewart and I was crowned Miss Bonnie Lass in 1982. So yes, if we do that math, that was exactly 40 years ago, almost to the date. For those of you who have been tending for many years, you may recall that year was a severe blizzard and Burns Night was actually moved from Saturday to a Sunday. So contestants, imagine that anticipation and anxiety waiting another 24 hours for that judging and that final moment. Currently, I live in Rochester, Minnesota with my husband, Tom. We both are employed at the Mayo Clinic, and we have 3 children, Shelby, who is 26, and twins Zachary and Taylor, who are 21. My fondest moment of being Miss Bonnie Lass was representing my community in the parades in the summertime, enjoying time with my court. Sheila Randall was my second runner-up, Chris Reynolds was first runner-up, and Jackie Knutson, Miss Congeniality. My advice to our new Miss Bonnie Lass for 2022, enjoy the ride, make lots of friends, make lots of memories, and represent Mapleton proudly.
This is a moment in the program called The Lament. I think most of you know what's going to happen here. We're going to close the curtains. We'll play a solo bagpipe playing, and just take a minute and remember. We all have people that maybe at this event or other places in your life that maybe it's more recent, maybe it's a long time ago, but take this moment and reflect. poem by Robert Burns, Winter, a Dirge. The wintry west extends his blast, and hail and rain does blaw, or the stormy north sends driving forth the blinding sleet and snow, while tumbling brown the burn comes down and roars from bank to brae, and bird and beast in covert rest and past the heartless day. The sweeping blast the sky o'ercast, the joyless winter day, led others fear to me more dear than all the pride of May. The tempest howl, it soothes my soul, my grief it seems to join. The leafless trees my fancy please, their fate resembles mine. Thou power supreme, whose mighty scheme these woes of mine fulfill, here firm I rest, they must be best, because they are thy will. Then all I want, oh, do thou grant this one request of mine, since to enjoy thou dost deny, assist me to resign. Robert Burns. One more sword dance, at least one more, because we're going to do one right now. And our four dancers will be Autumn Gall, Kaya Wenner, Ami Yeager, and Kate Davis doing the sword dance. Keep going. I mean, live performances. I mean, not only did she have to dance around the sword, but around her heather at the same time. That's a lot of extra pressure. You did fantastic. Way to go. You know, I haven't told one joke with like three people, like the standard joke, so I'm going to tell it because I think it's kind of funny, but you'll be the judge of that. They were up on a skyscraper, and there was an Irishman a Mexican, and a blonde guy. And they're all having their lunch. And the Irishman said, if I have to have corned beef and cabbage for lunch one more time, I'm jumping off this skyscraper. And the Mexican worker, he says, and if I have to eat a burrito again tomorrow, I'm with you, jumping off. And the blonde guy goes, I hear you. I have a bologna sandwich every day. If I have to have one more, I'm jumping with you. So the next day they get to work. They're up on like the 40th story. And they open up their lunch, and sure enough, corned beef and cabbage. Irishman gone. And the Mexican burrito, gone. Blonde guy, bologna sandwich, all three of them. Terrible. And they had a joint funeral. And the wives were all standing around the caskets lamenting. And the Irish wife said, I could make him something else. I didn't know he hated corned beef and cabbage so much. And the Mexican's wife's like, I could have made tacos. I could have anything but burrito. That's terrible. And they kind of looked to the blonde guy's wife. And she looked back. She goes, don't look at me. He made his own lunch. I know some of you saw that one coming. Somebody's laughing even before I got the punchline. That's all right. All right. Another one of my favorite dances is the Irish jig. And it's really the Scottish version of the Irish jig, meant to be a parody of an angry Irish washwoman when she finds out some neighborhood boys have knocked over all of her clean wash to the ground. So it's a highly energetic dance. I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. And tonight we have three performers, Anna Olivia Bear, Matea Bear, and Elizabeth Nelson doing the Irish jig. All right, that was fun. That was fun. Well, we're going to actually do a little bit different for any other Queen Miss Bonnie Lasses in her courts who might be in our audience tonight. So we're going to raise the house lights, I think. Now I can now see everyone. And I'm just going to call decades out. And if you fill that decade as Miss Bonnie Lass and the court, please rise, wave. I want to see the best queen wave ever from everybody. Please Let's see. Come on. Ann, you know how to do it. Yep. Oh, a little bit of a wave. Anyway, we'll ask you to stand up, and you can sit back down after your decade's over, and at the end we'll clap for you. So something new. We'll give it a shot. We're going to start with the 2010s and 2020s. All queens and of court from 2010 forward, please stand. Wave. I'm not joking. Wave. Right here. All right, all right. Let's go to the 2000s. There is, see, a big wave. Excellent, excellent. The 1990s. Right in front. Oh, yeah, yep. 1980s. Good, Jake. 1970s. And always great to see you. The 1960s. And then, did we start in the 60s, right? I've been doing my math right? Right, the 60s. Nobody in the 50s, right? 1950s. Anyway, thank you all for coming and being with us tonight. Give them a round of applause. And we're going to do a special thank you for the graduating seniors.
Hello, I'm Jen Yeager. I am the dance coordinator for the Mapleton Kilties. First, I'd just like to give a big shout out to our dance instructors. They give up their Saturday mornings, beginning of November until today. They get 30 minutes with these dancers to teach them everything that they learn, and it's completely volunteer. So let's give them a round of applause, please. Then I have my graduating seniors. They just did the jig for you. We have Elizabeth Nelson and Anna Olivia Bear, and they have been dancing since they were in first grade. So we have 11 dances in our repertoire, and they have danced every single one of them, and they got to finish it out with the Irish jig. I think they did a pretty good job. So thank you, girls, thank you for your commitment to the Kilties all these years, and you can come back and teach now.
Hi again. I just got a text from John, Mayor John. He said my proclamation was unanimously denied. And the key to the city? It was actually a key to the city plow. And as soon as I'm done with this, I gotta get out there and I gotta plow the snow. By the way, it is snowing pretty heavily out there, so be careful. Anyway, curling update. We're having a little trouble with our pump, and we're getting there, but again, trying to replace old stuff. Like, I've had a knee replacement, so I know what I'm talking about. It sometimes gets hard to get all the stuff together, and we got something from Indiana and something from Texas, and we got it all put together, and then they said, we got to redo some of the pipes. So now we're redoing some of the pipes, but we're getting there. And eventually we're going to hold our Burns and pin play down, and we'll have to have it in the messenger, and we'll get it out on Facebook and all those fun things. So be looking forward to that. But I think what I really want to do tonight, as far as curling goes, is I want to really wish John Landsteiner the best of luck in the Olympics this year as they go to defend that gold medal. And now I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to the foundation. And again, just real briefly, you see the pipers here on the sides, and these are the original Piper paintings that hung on the walls up here, right? And so they came down quite a few years ago, and they ended up at the curling club. And it made me nervous. And so they're unbelievable. So after the program, when the lights are up, really take a close look at them and really see what a marvelous job they did painting those. And if you haven't seen The Messenger, there's a beautiful article in The Messenger about the Pipers that Tim Soley wrote. And the foundation agreed to pay for a reproduction. So Cheryl Olson took a picture of these, and then Jeff Carter, Snap Graphics, put them on a big 4x8 sheet, and so they're all this nice laser printed copies, and those actually now are out in the commons. So when you go out for the clan gathering, you'll see those three. There's three big 4x8s, and then the middle one sort of says that the reproduction and refurbishing of it was, done by the foundation. Welcomes you to Mapleton, and those now will be hung at the curling club in place of these, and these will end up in the museum because that's where they really belong. So just be thankful to the foundation for their gift to help us make that happen. And in 2019, we started the Burns Endowment Fund, and last year at this time we had $13,000. To date now, we've got a slightly over $20,000 in that endowment, so it's continuing to grow. And again, we're getting close to that first goal of $100,000 that we want to get to, so we can make sure a program like this is sustained forever. So again, thanks to all those who have donated, and a special shout out to all you Miss Bonnie Lasses and Courts. They've been awesome as far as continuing to contribute to the endowment fund. And again, also, we've received many memorial gifts this past year, as well as from those faithful supporters of the Maple River Burns Club. So again, what they say about the Scots being a little bit of tight and thrifty, I will beg to differ. I think they're very generous and very thoughtful. So tonight, we have another announcement as far as foundation goes. The Maple River Chamber has challenged us to a $3,000 matching grant to help redo our float. And if you know anything about they know what I'm talking about. We need a new float. We need it updated. And so again, they've challenged us, and we have till February 7th to come up with $3,000 to get their match. And that's about what it's going to cost to redo this float and get one that we all can continue to be proud of. You saw, it was sort of cool seeing the old float and stuff, but we need a new one, just like it's changing with the times. So again, we have until February 7th. To donate now, you can go to the foundation website, Maple River Area Foundation, and you'll see a drop-down menu for Maple River Burns Club, and then you can designate that to the float, okay? Or out on the tables, when you go to the clan gathering, there are little flyers out there that you can send a donation in that tells you where to go. It's all really simple. Or if you want to find me, and you got your checkbook, I'll gladly take your money. All right? And if you find anyone in the Queens Committee, they'll gladly take it as well. So again, we want to thank the Maple River Chamber of Commerce for that challenge. So, again, thanks for your support. And again, we're going to continue to keep this tradition going. Last thing, and then I'll let John, I know he's waiting. I was doing some research on a little bit from Kalina, giving me some information about the Burns Club, which I thought was interesting. I think it was around 1934, I was reading how excited they were to have Burns Club in the new school right here. Next year, we're going to be excited to have our Burns Club in the new school. So it's sort of gone around, right? So we look forward to seeing you all here, not here, there, next year for the 2023 Burns Club. And I know the date is already set and things are in place, so just be looking for that. And again, thanks for your support.
And super excited for John Landsnyder, of course. But a small world, small world. I'm guessing many of you watch curling very closely. The U.S. women's team, the Peterson team, has two Petersons on them, Skip Tabitha Peterson, lead Tara Peterson, live 4 houses from where my wife and I live. We're very close friends with the Petersons. They are fabulous young ladies, And so we get to really watch with great interest both men's and women's curling clubs. So cheer for the Team Peterson at China this year. So very excited. We're getting down to it, you know. I'm scrumming through, you know, jokes from 80 years ago, but I did run across this one about Lena and Ole, because I haven't told a Lena and Ole joke tonight. And Lena and Ole, they went to see their lawyer to get a divorce. And their lawyer is like, how old are you guys? And Ole goes, oh, I think I'm 95, and Lena here is a 92. He says, you've been married all these years, and you're in your 90s. Why do you want to get a divorce now? Well, we wanted to make sure all the kids were dead first. That sounds really practical. We have one final former queen who's going to address the crowd from 1972, Arla Prohl. I think I'm not going to mispronounce her last name. Arla, I'll talk about a blast from the past, was one of my babysitters when I was a little tyke. She babysat me many, many times. So, hey, Mom, remember that? I'm sure you did. So, here she is, Arla.
Hello from Apache Junction, Arizona, where my husband and I live 5 months out of the year. The rest of the time, we are near Spencer, Iowa, home of the Clay County Fair. 50 years. Wow, that's a long time. I do have some fuzzy memories, though, from way back when. Kathy Byram, I recall, after the program, told me that the judges were especially impressed with one of my answers at the interview. She indicated the question was, what do you think is the world's most serious problem? At that point, I had very limited knowledge of worldly events, and so I thought and said, selfishness. I also remember at the rehearsal, Olga Vobel giving some explicit instructions to all 17 of us. Olga told us to have an acceptance speech, even if you think you have no chance of winning. And then she gave us clear directions as to how to be piped off the stage. That evening, Paula Junker was named Miss Congeniality and second runner-up. Debbie Yeager, first runner-up, and then Debbie Bach crowned me Miss Bonnie Lass. Unfortunately, my acceptance speech was a series of stumbling words, and I think I walked off the stage at the wrong time. So I encourage all candidates to listen carefully to directions and have a great time. You have a wonderful community to be proud of. Today still, when somebody asks what my hometown is, I say proudly, the curling capital of southern Minnesota. I look forward to watching virtually. Throughout the years, as an English teacher and speech coach, I oftentimes could not attend, and I'm thrilled that now we can watch the program virtually. So to all in attendance, to all from the Maple River area, I wish you well, and God bless in 2022.
We're getting pretty close here, but I got another story for you. What the heck, right? So Agnes, he was driving his car and he noticed his rear tail light, his turn light was out. So he went into this filling station, a service station, and the guy working there, his name is Gomer. So I don't know how bright Gomer was, but Agnes says, hey, I need to switch out the light. So they get the light switched out, and then Agnes said, hey, Gomer, can you go back and let's make sure the light's working. So Gomer goes back and looks at the light. He goes, works, doesn't work. Works, doesn't work. Man, this joke is not working. So gotta go for it sometimes. But all right, we have the final sword dance for tonight. Give that a round of applause. And the final dance, and that will be performed by Aubrey Will, Ava Stencil, Rebecca Walters, and Delaney Stencil, the Broadsword Dance. All right. Now's the time of what we've been waiting for all night long. It's going to start happening quickly here, so hold on to your horses. So first of all, I want to introduce our three judges. And actually, we have like a really famous judge. I don't know if you guys read this in the program. Carol Brady from the Brady Bunch is here tonight. Where are the judges? Who's Carol? Carol! Can I get your autograph afterwards, please? That's never happened to you before. Marcia. Anyway, a great congratulations to Judy Bourne, Carol Brady, and Nan Olinger. So our judges right here, if you want just to raise your hands, thank you for taking the time. And I think you have an envelope for me. Oh.
After doing it, I said, I'll never do it again. It is a hard decision. It's a hard job. All those girls deserve it. Great.
We're going to have 4 winners. Cool. 4 Miss Bonnie Lass. So I'm going to try to keep us moving, I'm going to try to do 2 things at once. So first, if the reigning court could come on stage, and while you do, I am going to read a little note that was given me to read to everybody. So the Miss Bonnie Lass Queens Committee is delighted to announce a generous increase in sponsorship from the Chamber of Commerce for this year, 2022. When additional funding is made available by sponsors of the Miss Bonnie Lass contest, Miss Bonnie Lass and or members of her court may receive higher scholarship awards. The 1922 Miss Bonnie Lass will receive a $700 scholarship, an increase of $200. First runner-up, $400, which is also an increase of $200. And the second runner-up will receive a $200 scholarship, an increase of $100. So in total, $500 increase from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you again for your additional support. Give them a round of applause. And with that, I will let our reigning court address the audience.
Hi everyone, I'd just like to say thank you all for coming out tonight and celebrating with us. We had a really good year this year despite COVID still being around, so that was good. I'd like to thank the sponsors one more time, the Chamber of Commerce, the Mapleton Area Chamber of Commerce, the Burns Club, and the Heather Curling Club. And I'd also like to thank Gina Lewis-Massop for coordinating everything for us, because without her we wouldn't have been able to do everything. And lastly, I would just like to say good luck to all the girls running tonight. Thank you.
So with that, if we could have our candidates come to the stage. I know my palms are sweating. I don't know about yours. We give them one final round of applause. And I see this is very well sealed. All right. Miss Congeniality. Matea Hicks. All right, second runner up. Leah Hibber. All right. First runner-up. Piper Queen. Miss Bonnie Lass 2022. Alexandra Nelson. The microphone is yours.
I would just like to thank our sponsors, the Chamber of Commerce, the Burns Club, and the Heather Curling Club, and a special shout out to the Queen's Committee. And I'd like to thank my fellow candidates, and I hope everyone enjoyed what they saw tonight, and have a safe ride home.
And since we don't have a piper in live, we do have a piper recording, and our Miss Bonnie Last will be piped off the stage now. And give her a round of applause. Everybody coming on stage for Oling Zine or not? The people coming on stage for Oling Zine or not? Because it's right now. All right, our evening is ending. Immediately following, for those of you here live, we have the clan gathering. Please join us and have some refreshments and join your friendships from years gone past. And then we're going to sing Auld Lang Syne, and I already told you what that means. And I'm looking over my shoulder because this is something different. I'm unclear if we're gathering on stage or if I'm swaying by myself with my arms crossed. Oh, we're going to have some other people. And I'd ask you all to stand and cross your arms if you feel willing to touch your neighbor, and enjoy Auld Lang Syne. Should all